The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Hey, Voyagers.
Please note, the new...
Welcome to another science lesson. And this lab is a continuation of what you worked on last week, where you were gathering information on the planets in our solar system. We also threw in Pluto, if you remember that. And you were supposed to record the information on this data sheet that you were supposed to send to me. You need to grab that now. And we're going to use this data to continue with this week's lesson. I'll let you go get that, and then when you come back, we'll get started on this week's lesson. All right, Voyagers. For this week, we're going to be using a three-part Venn diagram. And this Venn diagram has to do with animals. And here's how it works. Each circle is a quality or a category. This circle has to do with animals, if they have fur or not. And this circle right here has to do with if an animal can fly. And over here, if the animal eats insects. Now, where you place the animal names are extremely important, where you put them in the Venn diagram. And each area or region tells a story. Dead center, this area right here, means the animal follows all three qualities. Bats, yeah, they have fur, and they can fly, and they eat insects. So the spot for bat would be in the middle. Look at where bird is placed. A bird doesn't have fur, it has feathers, but it can fly and it does eat insects. And the only place for bird would be right here. Frog can't fly, but it can only eat insects. It doesn't have fur either. So the only place for frog would be right here. Well, we're not going to be talking about animals this week. We're going to be using the data from this table and a three-part Venn diagram. Well, let's look at the Venn diagram we'll be using this week that has to do with the planets. This circle has to do with if the planet is larger than Earth. And this circle has to do with if the planet has moons, yes or no. And this circle does the planet have rings, yes or no? And if those three categories sound familiar, well, yeah, it came from the last three columns on your data sheet that you did last week. So using this information, you need to write 9 words, 8 planets plus Pluto, and write them on this paper. If a planet is larger than Earth, it has moons, and it has rings, all three, then you'd write the planet in the middle. If a planet isn't bigger than Earth, it doesn't have any moons, and it doesn't have any rings, you still have to include that planet name. So you would write it somewhere on the outside of the circles. And let's say a planet is larger than Earth, and it has moons, but it doesn't have rings. Well, then you would write it right here. So once again, you need to write the 8 planet names plus Pluto and record them on this Venn diagram. You can't write the planet name more than once. You can only write it one time. So once again, on this paper, you're going to have to draw these circles and make them overlap and write the names of the circles like I did. You can trace a cover or you just hand draw it. But the name of the planet is only on there once. And you can't leave the name of a planet out. It has to be there somewhere. And then after you do that, we're going to have you actually do 2 Venn diagrams this week. And this one's a little more complicated. So we'll see who the Voyagers are who can do well on this Venn diagram. So you're actually going to send me 2 pictures, 2 Venn diagrams back to me for next week. And with this Venn diagram, it's the planets again. And the circles are different categories, though. This circle, does the planet have more than 10 moons? Does the name of the planet have more than 2 vowels in it? And we're going to consider Y a vowel. And for this circle, does the planet name have more than 5 letters in its name? So once again, you need to write the 8 planets plus Pluto on this Venn diagram. If the planet meets all 3 categories, it goes in the middle. If it doesn't meet any, it would go on the outside somewhere. And once again, you can't write the planet name in more than one spot. And you can't leave any planet names out. All right, let's take a look at what we have to do for next week. You're going to use this sheet that you completed for last week to complete this Venn diagram. And then I'm going to include at the end of this video, the planet information pages that you read last week. I'm going to include them again this week. So you might have to look through those again to complete this Venn diagram. And you're going to send both of these back to me. Each one of these will have 9 names on each. 8 planets plus Pluto, 8 planets plus Pluto. Don't leave any names out, and don't write the planet name more than once. Each planet name has a special spot somewhere on that Venn diagram. Well, I miss you guys, and as you probably heard, we won't be meeting back at Stafford for the rest of this year. We'll see each other through these videos, and we'll see each other in the hall next year when you're in 7th grade. Well, take care and be safe.